Hey everyone, welcome back. So today's video is going to be a tutorial and my review and thoughts on the new Naked 2 Basics palette put out by Urban Decay. So before I get into the review and my thoughts on it, I just kind of wanted to, let's just jump head first right on into the tutorial so you can see how these eyeshadows apply, how they are used. You can see how I created this eye look, and then we will be back to discuss my full thoughts on the palette. Fail, that's upside down. On the palette.
So first I'm going to start off as usual with some sort of liquid eye primer. I just have the Lorac behind the scenes primer open, so I'm just going to apply that with my fingers all over my eyelid and all the way up to my brow bone. And then I'm going to take this Maybelline Color Tattoo in the color Too Cool because I really want to make my lid color pop. And I thought putting down this white base is really going to help you not only have the shadow stick to it, but it's really going to make that cream shade that I'm going to put on my lid really just pop. So I'm going to start out with a flat shader brush. This is an E55 from Sigma, and this is the shade Skimp. It's just like a matte cream shade. I'm putting it all over my lid, underneath my eyebrows there on my brow bone, just to kind of start out with a nice cream base. Now I'm going to go in with a MAC 217 brush, and this is the shade creamier, a little bit darker of a cream shade called Stark. And I'm going to blend that up into my crease, blending upwards and outwards, creating a nice subtle shadow in my crease, just a little bit of a base here to work with. Now I just build up the color a little bit. I go back in a few times. I just want to create a really nice subtle shadow, just as our background color. Now I'm going to go in with this darker shade. It is called Cover, and I'm using the Sephora Pro Smoky Crease Brush. This I recently hauled, and I really like this brush. It's more of a dense brush, but it works really well for those very precise placement of a darker color. And I just want to note that I spend a lot of time blending. In all my efforts of learning how to be I don't know, makeup artist or an artist of my own, I've learned that blending is absolutely key. So now I go in with a clean, fluffy brush from MAC. It's the 224 brush, and I'm just making sure there are no harsh edges. And now I'm just taking a mirror, looking straight on to make sure my eyes are even, and indeed they were not. So back in I go with that same brush in the shade Cover, just to kind of even out my outer V there. Now I'm going to take this exact blend brush in E32 from Sigma, and I'm going to take the color called Primal. It's like a cool tone brown, and I'm just going to kind of deepen up that outer V a little bit just to create a little bit more depth and dimension. Nothing too smoky, nothing too crazy. This is just kind of a very pretty, subtle daytime shadow look that I want to create here. I blend upwards as well, just to note that I don't want my lid too dark, so I'm just kind of, and see that I lost a little bit of that color, so I went back in with the light shade that we started off with, just to bring some more light back to my lid and to keep it from, you know, I like the contrast between the dark and the light. Now I'm going to line my inner rim here with the Mally eyeliner. It is called Shimmering Black. You're not going to see the shimmer, but I just was grabbing for a liner. This is a waterproof liner, and I line my upper rim and my lower rim. If you hear any extra noises in the background, my daughter is up and she thinks she needs to be part of this tutorial. Okay, now I'm going to set that liner with the darkest shade in the palette, and it is called, what is it called? I don't know, or can't remember what it's called, but I'm setting my eyeliner with that darkest shade. And now I'm going to take the pencil brush in that same shade called Cover. It's like a taupey mauve-y brown, and I really like the look of a subtle shadow blended underneath your eye. I just think it just gives a little something. It's like the no makeup look. It looks like you have something there, but it's just truly a really subtle shadow, and I just like how it defines your eye without really any harsh lines. And I'm going to take a liquid liner. This is the Kat Von D liner in Trooper. I recently hauled this as well. I'm really enjoying this liner. It's very pigmented. The tip is flexible enough that I can really create that sharp point, but it's pigmented. I don't have to go over the color over the line too many times. It works really well for someone who is definitely not a professional. Every single time I do this, some days it turns out better than others, but I'm really enjoying this liner so far. I still want to try the Stella Stay All Day to compare it to this one and the Physicians Formula, but so far I am enjoying this liner. Now a little mascara.
Okay, so here's the finished look with lips, blush, the whole shebang. So here are my initial thoughts. When I first got it in the mail, of course, it looks exactly the same as the original one. The shadows are much more cooler in tone, and all of these shadows are matte, whereas in the original Naked palette, there is, I would say, two shimmery type shades. The Venus on the end here is a very beautiful shimmery shade, and the Foxy has just a subtle amount of shimmer. It's more of like a yellow champagne type color. Whereas in this Naked 2 Basics, however you say it, palette, it is all matte. Now, I really am enjoying these types of shades. They are cooler toned shadows, but I actually paired this look today with a warm tone cheek and a warm tone lip on purpose, just to show you that just because the shadows are cooler in tone doesn't mean you have to stick to your cooler toned blushes or lips. You can really mix and match, and I kind of like the versatility of the palette that way, but I also like the comparison, the contrast between the warm and the cool. So as always, these shadows are up to Urban Decay's normal standards when it comes to the feeling of them. They are very pigmented, they are very blendable. The deepest shade I do want to point out here is not deep black like in the original palette here. So here are the two side by side. The original one has a black, but in this other new one here, it is like this deep gray. And as you saw in the tutorial, I use that to kind of set my waterline shadow. And just to lighten up that black shadow just a little bit. So I would say for a daytime look, you can definitely wear this during the daytime, but at the same time you can also create a very smoky look for evening. I just kind of did a daytime look, not too deep, but definitely could take it up in a couple more notches if you wanted to. Let me just give you a few swatches here. They are very, very creamy, very, very pigmented. They blend well. The price on this is $29, and I think $29 for 6 matte eyeshadows from Urban Decay is a fabulous value. I would say save your pennies if you wanted to get an all matte palette or some sort of transition shade palette from the drugstore. Save your pennies and go out and purchase this. It is worth every penny of $29. I think that the value is there. The color selection is great. This is a great palette to pair with other palettes. There are no shimmery shades in this, but if you are a matte lover, this is great. I think this is a great travel companion. I think both of these together are a great travel companion, because then all you really need is to pick out your favorite shimmery shades and you're ready to go. So my overall thoughts are that if you are in the market for a neutral type palette, an all matte palette, something that is going to be a good travel companion, something that is going to kind of pair well with other palettes that you own, definitely go out and pick up the Urban Decay Naked Basics 2 palette. I think it is a great value. The pigmentation is there, the colors selection is great for transition shades, and overall I just think they've done a really nice job once again. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful to you. And as always, I hope you have a fabulous day today, and I'll talk to you again soon.